Welcome to my first ever live show. I am so thrilled to be with you here today. This weekly show will be your perfect 30-minute break where I'll teach you how to optimize your health and well-being in support of those ambitious goals that you have for your career, your business, and life in general. So you can continue to be the powerful leader of impact that you are. Now, if this is the first time you meet me, my name is Candy Calderon. I am a wellness expert and brain health professional and keynote speaker. I'm also the founder of CEO Wellness Club, a company that offers brain health and sleep optimization programs for founders, executives, and leaders of impact through behavioral and lifestyle changes, wellness strategies, technology, and accountability to help you rewire your brain, sleep better in order to maximize your potential, your performance, new ways to think, respond, connect, and lead. And did I mention longevity? Yes, that's the cherry on the top of the benefits of the beautiful work that I do. I also work with organizations via the ERGs and DIE leaders delivering in-house trainings to help their team's effectiveness by implementing practical strategies designed to enhance mental agility, resilience, improve focus, reduce waste and distraction, and unlock innovation. All the good stuff. With more than 10 years of experience, I've coached thousands of people all over the world, and I've had the honor of collaborating with some of the most amazing organizations, brands, and individuals, as well as being constantly featured in the media and feature my insights. I am so glad to have you here. Now let's dive into the topic of today. But before we do that, remember to do all the nice things and follow me and click on the notification button so you don't ever miss an episode. And because it is Mental Health Awareness Month, I wanted to start with a very special topic that I personally think is so important, especially for those of us who are busy when we have challenging days as leaders of impact, as professionals, executives, CEOs, founders, when we have our own businesses. It's so important that we understand how to regulate our stress. Our stress is a silent killer, and we need to understand how we can regulate the tools, the strategies, and how our own body has the tools to help us regulate when we're having a challenging day, a challenging moment. So I wanted to invite a very special guest, a professional in the area, to discuss the vagus nerve. What is that? How can we use it to our advantage? How can we regulate our vagus nerve? How can that support us as busy professionals? So let's dig in and let me bring in my guest. April Mayorga. April!
Hi, Candy. Hola, hola.
How are you?
Everything is great here.
Excited to have you. And for those of us that are meeting you for the first time or seeing you for the first time, tell us who you are, your background, and all the good stuff that we need to know before we dive into this very juicy conversation.
Yes. So my name is April Mayorga. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in Los Angeles. So I see clients throughout California. I specialize in individuals and couples. I have a lot of experience with trauma and somatic work, especially anything related to mindfulness. And so I'm really excited to talk about this today with you.
Wonderful. And, I was so excited when we've known each other for a few years now. We've collaborated in the past. And I always knew that when I started my live show, I wanted to bring real experts that I knew would bring value to my audience. And then we're very knowledgeable in the topics that we're going to discuss, not only with life experiences, but also as experts. So that's why I appreciate so much. And just because I trust you so much, especially, you're an expert when it comes to mental health and a professional in that area. And I feel that as professionals, And people who are busy, our workload gets bigger and bigger as opposed
Yeah.
to smaller and smaller. And many of us willingly sacrifice or feel that I should feel stressed because I
Mhm.
am climbing that ladder. I am growing my career. My career is exploding. I am ambitious. I need to do this. I need to do that. And many of us feel that if we have a sense of peace, it's, oh, we're not doing enough. I should feel stressed. I should feel in my body that is taking a toll in my well being, in my health. And we want to break that pattern. We want to teach our audiences that you don't have to sacrifice one for the other. If anything, prioritize your well being and your mental health as a foundation for that explosive career that we all want, that explosive success. And that's why I wanted to discuss, especially because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, the importance of regulating our vagus nerve, to explain, even because for many of us it's a new concept. It's something that we never knew that existed as such, or what is it. So I want your expert opinion. Can you share with us, like, I'm in kindergarten, what's the vagus nerve and why should we care?
So, the vagus nerve, also known as vagal nerves, is the area of the body that's in charge of the parasympathetic nervous system. It's a part that regulates the intestines, digestion, your heart rate. There's some breathing involved as well. So, it has a really big part in regulating our parasympathetic nervous system. It's a big part of our functioning, our emotional regulation, and our immune system as well.
Yeah, which is very important. We all know that, and I feel that the more we clarify what it is and why we all should know that yes, we do have a vagus nerve, and yeah, it comes into play when we want to regulate our emotions or stress, which we are so exposed to every day because of the way of our lives, work, and all that good stuff. So how do we go about, because I know there's many strategies, especially coming from a professional like you, in psychotherapy. Can you at least break down at least 2 to 3 that we can implement, and maybe as soon as we're done with this conversation,
Right.
we can start implementing ASAP?
Absolutely. So the vagus nerve can be stimulated through simple techniques. Like I think mindfulness, there's so much research behind how practicing daily mindfulness skills can promote regulation of the vagus nerve. How we can do that is through some people activate it through the throat areas, such as singing, humming. It could be like in groups where you hum, chant something. So you're already creating some sort of vibration that'll activate this
Mm,
vagus nervous system to promote relaxation and soothing. That's one big one. If you want to be in a cultural setting with groups and so forth. Another one might be slow breathing, as simple as that. Most importantly, the part where we're exhaling. You want to be able to take big breaths to fill up your lungs, expand the diaphragm, expand the stomach. But most importantly, as you exhale, you want the exhale to be much longer than your inhale. So you
got it.
really want to feel that out breath, right? You might even use your mouth, like, right? Really allowing yourself to open up the lips and press out the air, noticing that the heart rate might decrease automatically. So again, like you want the exhale to be much longer. There's
Okay.
another part that of the vagus, the vagal nerve and so forth that is located in the intestine and the stomach.
Mhm.
We have mood receptors in our intestine. Like, it's not a well-known thing, but even the foods that we're eating, if we intake more fibers, to allow our intestine and digestive system to do its thing, we're
Mhm.
also helping our nervous system, right? And we're supporting its role and function by doing so. So those are the three that I can think of right now that we could do immediately.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned something, because I feel that at least I personally do that even without realizing, and it's beautiful because it tells us also how our bodies can help us regulate sometimes even without knowing that. do you feel sometimes we're like super stressed and without even knowing, I'll take a deep breath. I'll be like,
Right.
and don't even think about it, or did it knowingly thinking about, oh, let me regulate my vagus nerve, but my body is doing that for me. So imagine, and I feel relieved. It's like when we're stressed
Yeah.
or annoyed or even, mad or sad. Like I personally always remember that I breathe deeper. I'll do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, imagine if we are more intentional. So what you're saying is I should do a long inhalation or a short inhalation and a long exhalation. So it'll be like,
You want your inhalation to be very body focused, right? Inhale to the point where you don't want to exhaust yourself, but you want to notice a difference in your stomach, in your chest. You want to feel that expansion. So the moment you feel that expansion, right, your body shifts. As long as you notice that, it's safe enough to give yourself that
yeah,
much longer exhale.
yeah. Okay. Wow. I even feel better. I did that like for a second and I feel like you feel different, and it's a really nice feeling, but also a very real feeling. Like you feel like you're dropping, I don't know, and I'm talking about my own experience, like this weight from your shoulders. And that's why I wanted to bring awareness about strategies, coming from a professional like you, that we truly can do wherever. Because thinking about it, you can do that at home, if you're in your office, even if you're commuting from or to work. So those are things that we can do. So definitely breathing. And also, I love that you mentioned nutrition. Obviously, my background in nutrition, I'm all for it. And the reality is that it's all connected. And the more we give our body then the proper nutrition so it can do its proper function, we're also supporting our mental health, which is so important. Because when we're eating processed food, you know, we're setting a foundation for our body to not have the enough nutrients to function properly. And then we're asking ourselves why I'm feeling that type of way, or I'm feeling kind of blue. And something that makes me so sad is that many of our clients, I know many of your clients, you as a professional psychotherapist, and me being as a professional brain health coach and wellness coach, is that we see a lot of people that are experiencing this these mental health challenges, and sometimes they go to traditional doctors, who I love and have a tremendous important role in life. But sometimes many of them will just prescribe this medicine and drugs, and sometimes the key thing is that your gut is not healthy.
Right.
And, so maybe looking at your gut and resetting and rebooting the way you eat and focusing on prebiotic and prebiotic, like rich foods, we will improve and see so many improvements that you will not even need to take these prescription drugs. And they'll never ask them, hey, how's your digestion? That is a question that never gets asked. So that's why I'm so happy that you mentioned like fiber, things that activate your intestines and get things moving.
Right. Absolutely. Things that support it. And a big part of the vagus nerve is like that it's in charge of the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our involuntary like functioning, right? The stomach, we're not actively telling our stomachs to digest, right? It's doing it on its own. But we can be active and make choices that support that such an important and vital function for us, right?
Yeah.
And it does impact our mood. I always think of like what the vagus nerve is. It runs through the trunk of the body, and I always tell clients like that's where a lot of our emotion is being held, right? Like we're gonna cry, we feel that knot in the throat, our tears are the way we're breathing in, and even you said it, like the way sometimes we don't realize that we're holding our breath, or we may let out a big breath, right? And a lot of anxiety and stress is in the stomach. We might feel a pain, it might speed up our systems, and we feel nauseous as well. Or people say, oh, my stomach dropped, right? We have those expressions for a reason, because emotion is being stored in this area, the central trunk area, again, where the vagus nerve is.
Yeah.
So many good points here, I guess, that people should pay attention to.
Yeah, and I love it because so many of us do not have that information as dissected, and I feel that the more we know, the better choices we can make. And it's like, hey, if I'm having a day that it's being somehow challenging, I can stop and say, well, you know what, I learned this that day with April and Candy. Let me stop myself, do this, slow breathing, breathe
Yeah.
in, breathe out, or maybe I haven't even been giving my body enough nutrients, or maybe when was the last time that I ate a fiber rich food? Am I hydrating enough and to keep things moving inside of my body? And so we give ourselves that, that space of, am I supporting myself to help
Mhm.
regulate my vagus nerve? And I think that's, that's so beautiful. But you know that sometimes life gets in the middle, and we might know some tools and strategies, very simple, as the ones you
Mhm.
mentioned, which I love, because I love things simple that we
Yeah.
can all do without having, too much trouble. But one of the things that I love about technology and the advancements we have been experiencing is that we now have so much wellness technology to support um, our wellness goals and our well-being goals. And sometimes it's hard for me, if I'm in the middle of a really hard and challenging day or situation, to say, let me stop and start regulating my vagus nerve. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes I'm not even equipped emotionally to work on that or stop myself and do that. And there are several devices that have been created to trigger that support and that regulation, to help us trigger that. Have you heard anything about it? What do you think about it? Do you support it? Tell me. I want to know your opinion.
Yeah, I have heard some, not too much information diving into that. Again, I'm more of a psychotherapy approach, but there are so much options. There are many options now and technology. It could be as simple as wearing a device like a watch, a ring. You know about that,
Mhm.
Candy.
Yes.
Um, Systems to remind us to regulate ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, there might be some electric stimulation that you can give to the vagus nerve through other means. Like if you visit a center that offers that, you can do that as well. But I think like within wellness apps and the features that we can wear in devices, we can
Mhm.
remind ourselves to take that pause. And again, our vagus nerve is already involuntarily trying to support this process. But if
Yeah.
we can have that extra boost to help us in our everyday, then absolutely wearing things that are going to remind us to slow down and check in.
Yeah. And what I love about some of these devices is that they're really not invasive. There are some, like, it's like, you can wear like a neck brace and it will just trigger like a small current in your neck, and then it will remind you. But then you mentioned something about um, centers where people can go and also get this services. Do people need a recommendation from a professional like you? Can they just walk in and say, hey, I want to get this service? How does that work?
My understanding is that people can walk up to these clinics and or call ahead and sign up for a consultation where they can be provided with information on these new and advanced services. Like I've heard of the same one as well, Kenny, that you're mentioning, was like putting on these patches in the neck or along like the spine area and it giving those like electric shocks. I've
Mhm.
also heard of people who visit the homes and they might come to you for that service if you're unable to travel. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many amazing options.
Hey, look, make it easy for me. That's what I love. Please make it easy for me to stick with my wellness goals, because, and that's one of the things that I'm really so intentional when I'm working with my clients and when I'm creating programs for my corporate clients. It's give them strategies that people can stick to without being life altering, because we need to make this type of strategies as easy as possible in a way that it's doable. And then when you start making things hard and difficult, that's when people start dropping out, not sticking to it, and not seeing the results that you and I both want for our clients and the people who work with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, it could also be as simple as setting an alarm on your desktop or your phone device, right? To take those deep breaths as well. Like to have that quick check-in. Like you mentioned earlier, have I hydrated? Have I had a fiber-rich meal? So it could be that simple as well.
Yeah, perfect. I love it. So tell us, April, where can people find you? How can we continue to stay connected with you, learning from you, supporting you? Tell us all about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on my website at mayorgapsychotherapy.com or find me on Instagram at April Mayorga MFT for marriage and family therapist. So April Mayorga MFT. And yeah, I'd love to continue the conversation there.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. We continue offline our chat as we always do. Yeah. Thank you for being here with me. Well, I hope you enjoy that. My first ever live show. I'll be here dropping the goods on a weekly basis, helping you with the strategies, tools, and knowledge that you need to start prioritizing your well-being over the grind. Remember, you cannot do well if you are not personally well. So I'll thank you for watching. See you next week.